Wow, this girl's so beautiful. If I got married this beautiful girl, I would be very happy. No. The husband was more and more unbelief because the wife was too beautiful. He often took the chance the wife took the bath to look her wallet, worried about his wife doing shady things behind. Even each time the wife went out, he would follow her to know where she went. Can't blame him either. The wife is not only a beautiful person but also an open-minded person, so the predestined relationship is very favorable. Often having a male friend ask her out, but every time the husband asked who it was, the wife said it was a male best friend. David is the owner of a small-town resort. In one incident, he met Anne through friends. Two people fall in love at first sight. They quickly got married. Anne is the prettiest girl in town. David felt himself very happy. They soon gave birth. After giving birth, Anne's body was still beautiful. On the contrary, it was more attractive. Resort business. The beauty of the landlady attracted countless customers. The front desk was very busy that day. The husband heard his wife's laughter from the next room. David opened the door and walked into. He found him next to a strange man. His name is Jack, a rich boy who often stays at the resort. Without waiting for David to speak, the wife quickly said that they were watching a movie screening. Turning off the lights was for the effect of watching, then made a face with him to get over this. David was annoyed, but didn't ask much. But just a few days later, she returned with an old man, holding a large gift bag. The old man is also a guest here. Before leaving, he kissed the back of Anne's hand in front of David, and invited her to go for a walk one next time. Seeing the scene, David realized something was wrong. While she was taking a bath, David opened the gift that the old man gave his wife. It's a branded bag. The wife put on beautiful makeup after bathing, dressed sexy and said she wanted to go back to her mother's house. David in his heart was uneasy. Why she had to make up so beautiful when she came home? So he silently followed his wife to see where she went. As expected, Anne did differently from her original intention. This was not the way to her mother-in-law's house. At this time, rich boy Jack suddenly appeared. David followed, turned around, lost sight of Anne and Jack. To verify if his wife was lying, he went to his mother-in-law's house, without waiting for him to knock. His wife's voice was behind him. She said her parents weren't at home, so she sat outside the door waiting for them. David couldn't say anything, and there was no evidence. One day, he didn't see Anne again. David went to the beach to find. Indeed, he caught his wife in a sexy bikini surfing on the sea. The man rowing ahead was Jack. David chased all the way, but encountered a scene that he didn't want to look at. His wife and Jack came out from the woods, and when they got on the boat, they had intimate gestures. David fell to the ground in pain. He immediately felt his head covered with horns. In the middle of the night, David came home like a lost soul. Seeing her husband like that, Anne was heartbroken and asked him what was wrong. David also did not hide his thoughts, but Anne denied. She said she and Jack were just friends, not what he thought. Seeing his wife's determination, David believed the two hugged each other tightly. The thing went on. The wife knew her fate and didn't contact Jack anymore. Unfortunately, the good times did not last long. That night, the old man shared with everyone the video he took. In addition to the scenery of the town, there was also a beautiful landlady. In the video, Anne and Jack were playing at the beach very intimately. The sexy body immediately made the men have to say all the words. Seeing his wife in contact with all kinds of men, he was furious. Clutching the cup in his hand, David thought miscellaneously. The wife sat by the window waiting for Jack, still lying on the bed and calling each other vague calls, under the cover of best friends who were secretly dating. By this time David's mind was filled with mosaics. He was helpless and then smashed his wine glass, rushing into the crowd loudly declaring, making everyone was in a hurry to leave. The wife saw this and hurriedly took her husband away, and didn't know why David became like this, so asked for his problem. The result was a slap by David. The wife, who was not angry, still came to David's side and asked why he had become like this. David stammered that he was jealous. His wife felt sorry for her husband and promised not to interact with the opposite gender and promised not to go out again in the future, but the date still hasn't changed for the better. David became so bad that he didn't even give his wife a chance to be alone for 10 minutes. It was stormy that night. David remembered that the attic window was still open. When he was about to leave, he suddenly discovered his wife's bracelet on the ground. David began to think about things again, imagining his wife and some other guest in the attic. Back in the room, he argued with his wife again. David knew he was wrong, said a few cruel words and quickly went to sleep. At midnight, he suddenly woke up, didn't see his wife. He rushed to find. He suddenly thought the relationship between his wife and the old man was pretty good. T-H-L-T-D-N-G-C-H A-K-H-A-D-P-H-N-G-C-A-M-N-H-M-C-A-P-H-N-G and Jita. Indeed, there were 2 glasses of wine on the table. He looked around but couldn't find Anne. He took out his anger on the old man, blamed him for seducing his wife, and kicked him out. The old man was very angry, saying that next time wouldn't come again. Back in the room, at that time Anne was standing at the head of the bed waiting for him. Suddenly remembering what just happened, David, annoyed, scolded her angrily. This is the first time he abused her. Now David has become a pervert. To keep his wife, he even locked the door to prevent her from going out. At this moment, Anne's spirit was gradually breaking down. She had to thanks to sleeping pills. David still was worried. When she was a deep sleep, he tied her hands to the head of the bed. In David's eyes, the once pure and innocent wife had become a loose girl. In his mind appeared the shady relationship between his wife and other men. At this point, he couldn't take it anymore, grabbed the knife and stabbed her repeatedly, gory. But when he came out of the bathroom, he found his wife still lying on the bed. The movie ends here. This is a two-way end. Who do you think is to blame in this marriage? Let's comment.